split over the marijuana because a lot of the people who were suffering from AIDS at that time had been living in the fast lane. Alcohol, poppers, cocaine, marijuana, everything. Rightly, that drugs were a problem, a part of the AIDS problem. Patients groups in the early days were anti-drug, and which included marijuana. But some of the people, no, marijuana is different. Well, they divided up in this group those who stopped every drug, including marijuana. Good for them, except for the marijuana part. The ones who stopped everything except marijuana, and as a friend of mine put it, God rest his soul, the ones who were anti-marijuana lost the argument because they all died. Marijuana was keeping people alive in the early days of the AIDS epidemic. And that was something that became almost a commonplace in the AIDS/gay community. They tried to get the government to allow patients with AIDS to use medical marijuana. And they started that. And then shortly after, this was ironically was started under the administration of George W. Bush. When Bill Clinton becomes president, we were very optimistic about this program. I smoked, but I didn't inhale, says Bill Clinton. You know, about as true as any other thing he said. But what happened was that they shut down the medical marijuana program because they said it was sending the wrong message to children. Yeah, this was the whole justification. The justification for the drug war was to protect children, even the ones that are having seizures every 30 seconds. You're not going to protect them, well, okay. But the fact is that we could observe this. This was something that was, particularly in places like San Francisco, where you had a very large gay community, and of course it was the epicenter of, along with New York, of the beginnings of the AIDS epidemic. My late friend Dennis Perrone, as a leader of the gay community and progressive politics in San Francisco, saw, point of fact, that his friends who used marijuana were outliving the ones who didn't. What were people dying from? A lot of different complications. AIDS is a very complex problem because it's basically immunosuppression. One of the things that they suffered, almost all suffered, was a total loss of appetite. If you're nauseous all the time, you don't want to eat, and if you don't eat, that's not really good for your health. Particularly, it's not good for anybody's health, but particularly if you have, an immunosuppressive disease. Once who used marijuana, ate, their quality of life was infinitely better. Eventually, yes, they would succumb, but they suffered a lot less. A doctor at San Francisco General Hospital, Dr. Donald Abrams, observed this. He's right in the middle of the epidemic. He sees, the difference, the ones who are losing weight and wasting away quickly versus the ones who aren't. What was the difference? They were using marijuana. Dr. Abrams, seeing this, applies for a government grant and permission to do research to see if marijuana would help people with AIDS. He was turned down. He tries it again, it's not turned down. He decided to reword his application. Will medical marijuana hurt people with AIDS? Done. Got your grant, got your marijuana. Certainly. Well, he did his research. The results were disastrous for the government. Good for the patients, but in point of fact, that what they did was they put two groups of people in a hospital setting for 30 days. One group got a placebo, the other group got actual marijuana. The ones who got the marijuana did much better than the ones who didn't. What really was scary, the government, was that the viral load count for the people who were getting medical marijuana actually went down. It indicated that marijuana, cannabis, old cannabis, was in fact somehow or other suppressing the virus and helping the immune system. You didn't hear about that. Well, maybe because it didn't fit the party line, but it certainly had one effect, and that is Donald Abrams will never get another grant from NIDA to do research on medical marijuana. After that, he wasn't any point in him trying. Because it's quite clear that the government does not consider marijuana a threat to public health. It considers marijuana a threat to the drug war. It considers marijuana a threat to a police state that can arrest sick and dying people, that can seize people's property and cars for using a medicine that the government has not approved of.